Welcome back to the channel Numisma Hub Coin Enthusiasts. Today, we'll dive into the fascinating history of the 1969 Australian 20-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II, from its iconic platypus design by Stuart Devlin to its role in Australia's early decimal currency. This coin is more than just money, it's a piece of national heritage. Let's explore why this coin remains so special to collectors and history lovers alike. Top 9. First up, asterisk. The Australian 20-cent coin was first introduced in 1966 when Australia adopted decimal currency, replacing the pre-decimal system of pounds, shillings, and pence. The 1969 20-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II is part of this early decimal coinage series. It represents not just money, but also a period of great change in Australia's economic and cultural history. Asterisk. The obverse of the 1969 20-cent coin features a young portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machen, a British sculptor and designer. This portrait was used on Australian coins from 1966 until 1984. It shows the Queen facing right, wearing a tiara, with the inscription Elizabeth II Australia 1969 around the edge. This design reflects Australia's close ties with the British monarchy. Asterisk. On the reverse of the coin is one of the most iconic Australian coin designs, shows a platypus swimming, designed by Stuart Devlin, the official designer of Australia's decimal coins. The platypus is a uniquely Australian animal, chosen to represent the country's natural heritage. Devlin's design gives the impression of motion, with flowing waterlines surrounding the animal. Asterisk. The coin is made from cupronickel, which is 75% copper and 25% nickel. This metal composition was chosen for durability, as well as resistance to corrosion. Unlike silver coins of the earlier period, these new coins were intended for everyday circulation and to withstand heavy use without losing their design details. Asterisk. The diameter of the 1969 Australian 20-cent coin is 28.65 millimeters, and its weight is 11.31 grams, making it one of the largest and heaviest decimal coins in everyday use. Because of its size and distinctive platypus design, it quickly became a recognizable piece of currency in Australian pockets. Asterisk. In 1969, millions of 20-cent coins were struck by the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. However, unlike some years where mintages were relatively high, the production in 1969 was somewhat moderate, which makes coins from this year more collectible today, especially in higher grades of preservation. Asterisk. For collectors, condition is everything. Circulated 1969 20-cent coins are common and easily found, but uncirculated or proof-like examples are much rarer and hold significant value in the numismatic market. Over the decades, many coins have been worn down, so pristine examples are considered special. Asterisk. One interesting aspect of the 1969 20-cent coin is that it belongs to the very first series of decimal coins in Australia. This gives it additional historical importance, as it connects directly to the decimal transition period of the late 1960s. Many Australians at that time were still adjusting to the new currency system. Asterisk. The coin is also a reflection of Queen Elizabeth II's long reign and her presence on Australian currency. At the time of the 1969 issue, she had been on the throne for 17 years. This coin is one of the many pieces that carried her image into the daily lives of Australians, symbolizing the nation's constitutional monarchy. Asterisk. The platypus on the reverse is a particularly symbolic choice. The animal is one of the most unusual in the world, being a mammal that lays eggs and has a duck-like bill. Its inclusion on the coin celebrated Australia's distinct wildlife and helped to give the coinage a unique national identity. Asterisk. Collectors often compare the 1969 20-cent coin with other years to identify variations in strike quality, minting errors, and wear patterns. Any coin from 1969 that shows mint errors, such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or double dies, is especially prized by numismatists. Asterisk. In terms of cultural value, the 1969 Australian 20-cent coin represents an era of growth and modernization in the country. Australia in the late 1960s was experiencing social change, industrial expansion, and closer integration with global markets, all of which were mirrored in the efficiency and practicality of its new decimal currency. Asterisk. Today, the coin continues to circulate, although many older examples are disappearing as they are collected, lost, or damaged. For younger generations, it serves as both a piece of history and a reminder of the changes that Australia underwent during the 1960s. Asterisk. In the numismatic community, the 1969 20-cent coin has a modest but important place. While not as rare or valuable as some earlier pre-decimal silver coins, it is an essential part of a complete Australian decimal collection. Its significance lies in its history, design, and place in the decimalization story. Asterisk. Overall, the 1969 Australian 20-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II is more than just money. It is a snapshot of history, with its regal obverse, iconic platypus reverse, durable cupronickel composition, and role in the early years of decimalization. It continues to capture the interest of both historians and collectors. Its legacy lies in connecting Australians to their national identity and their evolving monetary heritage. Asterisk. Next up, the Australian 20-cent coin, first introduced in 1966 with the changeover to decimal currency, continued into the 1970s as an essential part of Australia's everyday economy. The 1974 issue, featuring Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, reflects not only the country's economic needs but also its connection to the British monarchy. The coin's obverse front side bears the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II. Designed by Arnold Machen, a well-known British sculptor, this portrait was introduced in 1966 and remained on Australian coins until 1984. The 1974 20-cent coin is part of this era, representing the youthful image of the Queen with her tiara. The reverse back side of the 20-cent coin features the iconic platypus design, created by Stuart Devlin, who was appointed as the official goldsmith and jeweler to the Queen. The platypus, a unique and distinctly Australian animal, symbolized the natural heritage of the country and became instantly recognizable. The 1974 20-cent coin was struck at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. These coins were produced primarily for circulation, meaning that they were intended for everyday use in commerce and trade, rather than for collectors. In terms of specifications, the coin weighed 11.31 grams and was composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. Its diameter measured 28.65 millimeters, and it had a redded edge. These specifications made it a durable and practical coin for regular use. The mintage of the 1974 20-cent coin was around 59.4 million pieces, making it one of the more widely available issues of the decade. Due to this high production figure, the coin is generally common in circulated condition today. However, while circulated examples are common, finding a 1974 20-cent coin in pristine, uncirculated or proof-like condition can be more challenging. Collectors often value such high-grade examples more than well-worn ones. The 1974 20-cent coin falls under the Machen portrait era, which collectors often classify as a distinct period in Australian numismatic history. This era saw consistency in design but also subtle changes in production quality as minting technology improved. Economically, the 1970s were a period of inflation and financial change in Australia. The 20-cent coin retained significant purchasing power during this time, being commonly used in transactions such as public transport fares, snacks, and small household goods. The coin's design is also significant culturally. The platypus symbolizes Australia's unique wildlife, serving as a national icon. By including such imagery on the 20-cent coin, Australia emphasized its independent identity, even while retaining the Queen's effigy on the obverse. Collectors of Australian decimal coinage view the 1974 20-cent piece as a standard issue, but it still plays an important role in completing year-by-year sets. Completing a full run of 20-cent coins from 1966 onwards remains a popular goal for hobbyists. One interesting aspect for collectors is the search for errors and varieties. While no major known varieties exist for the 1974 20-cent coin, examples with minting errors such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or clipped planchets can attract strong interest in the numismatic market. The condition of 1974 20-cent coins found today depends largely on storage and circulation history. Coins kept in mint rolls or collector sets from the 1970s remain well preserved, while circulated coins typically show scratches, dullness, and surface wear. Today, the 1974 Australian 20-cent coin remains affordable for collectors. In circulated condition, its value is usually only face value, but in uncirculated or near mint grades, it may sell for a few dollars. Special error coins, however, can fetch much higher prices. In summary, the 1974 Australian 20-cent coin is a piece of history that reflects Australia's decimal currency system, its wildlife heritage, and its ties to the British monarchy. Though common, it holds both historical and cultural significance, making it a treasured collectible for those interested in Australian coinage. Next up, the Australian 20-cent coin, introduced in 1966 with the decimal currency system, has always carried cultural and historical significance. The 1975 issue, featuring Queen Elizabeth II, is particularly important as it was struck during a period of political and economic change in Australia. The obverse of the 1975 coin features the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machen. This portrait, introduced in 1966, shows the Queen wearing a tiara and facing right. It remained a staple on Australian coinage until 1984, making it a familiar image to millions of Australians during this period. The reverse side of the coin features the platypus, an iconic Australian animal. Designed by Stuart Devlin, the coin's reverse highlights the unique wildlife of Australia. The platypus has remained a constant feature on the 20-cent coin since its introduction, reinforcing the country's connection to its environment. The 1975 issue was struck at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. This mint was responsible for producing the majority of Australia's circulating coinage at the time. ensuring high standards of quality and consistency in each coin released into circulation. In 1975, Australia was undergoing significant political changes, including the constitutional crisis that led to the dismissal of Prime Minister Gough Whitlam. The 20-cent coin, although a small part of daily life, reflects the broader historical context in which it circulated, reminding collectors of this turbulent period. The coin is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it durability and a distinctive silvery appearance. Its weight is 11.3 grams, and its diameter is 28.65 millimeters, making it one of the largest and heaviest Australian decimal coins in circulation. In terms of mintage, millions of 1975 20-cent coins were produced for circulation. However, they remain popular among collectors due to their connection to the mid-1970s era, as well as the enduring appeal of Australian wildlife designs. One of the reasons the 1975 20-cent coin remains collectible is because of its association with the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. Many collectors organize their sets according to the effigy changes, making this particular year an essential part of building a complete decimal collection. That the coin was widely used in daily transactions, particularly for buying small items such as newspapers, bus tickets, and snacks. In 1975, 20 cents had a much greater purchasing power than it does today, reflecting inflation and the changing value of money over time. The 1975 coin does not have any notable mint errors that are widely documented, but like other coins, error varieties such as misstrikes, off-center strikes, or die cracks can increase collector interest and significantly raise the coin's value. Collectors often seek 1975 20-cent coins in high grades, particularly uncirculated or proof condition. Proof coins were produced in small numbers for collectors and feature a sharper strike with mirror-like fields, making them more desirable. The coin also reflects Australia's ongoing relationship with the British monarchy, featuring Queen Elizabeth, to emphasize the country's Commonwealth ties during a decade when debates about national identity and independence were becoming more pronounced. But from a historical perspective, the 1975 20-cent coin is not just currency, it is a small metallic reminder of the mid-1970s Australian way of life. It represents both the monarchy and the natural environment, blending two powerful symbols in one design. Today, most circulated examples of the 1975 20-cent coin hold only modest collector value, generally between face value and a few dollars depending on condition. However, pristine, uncirculated or proof examples can fetch much higher prices in the numismatic market. In conclusion, the 1975 Australian 20-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II is a piece of history that combines art, politics and economics. It stands as a collectible reminder of Australia's decimal currency era, the reign of Elizabeth II, and the unique wildlife that continues to define the nation's identity. Next up, the 1976 Australian 20-cent coin is one of the most popular circulation coins from the decimal series, introduced after Australia switched to decimal currency in 1966, carrying the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. The coin represented both the continuation of royal tradition and the uniqueness of Australian currency design. By 1976, the 20-cent piece had already become a cornerstone of daily transactions in the Australian economy. The obverse of the 1976 coin features Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machen, one of the most respected sculptors of the era. His portrait of the Queen, introduced in 1966, remained on Australian coins until the mid-1980s. The image portrays the Queen wearing a tiara, symbolizing dignity, authority, and the continuation of the monarchy's legacy within the Commonwealth. The reverse design of the 20-cent coin, created by Stuart Devlin, features a platypus swimming through water, with ripples forming around it. The platypus was carefully chosen as a uniquely Australian symbol, an animal found nowhere else in the world. Its mysterious and distinctive qualities helped make the 20-cent coin design stand out globally. In terms of composition, the 1976 Australian 20-cent coin was struck in cupronickel consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel. The metal blend ensured durability and resistance to corrosion, making it ideal for coins in constant circulation. Each coin weighed 11.3 grams and measured 28.65 millimeters in diameter, making it one of the larger coins in the Australian decimal series. Production of the 20-cent coin in 1976 took place at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. This mint, established in 1965, was responsible for producing Australia's first decimal coins and continued to refine its minting processes through the 1970s. The 20-cent denomination was a critical part of the currency system, filling the gap between small value coins and larger denominations. The year 1976 was significant for Australia, not only politically but also economically. Inflation and rising costs of living meant coins like the 20-cent played a crucial role in everyday purchases. Items such as snacks, bus fares, and small household goods could easily be purchased with a 20-cent coin. Underlining its importance in daily life, collectors often regard the 1976 20-cent coin as part of a broader series that illustrates the development of Australian decimal currency. While not particularly rare in circulated condition, well-preserved coins or uncirculated examples are valued by numismatists. The coin represents a time when coinage was widely used for transactions, unlike today where digital payments dominate. The obverse design by Arnold Machin is particularly notable for its elegance and subtlety. His portrait of the Queen was softer compared to later designs, emphasizing youth and grace. The tiara on the Queen's head was a deliberate choice, reflecting continuity with earlier coinage of other Commonwealth countries that used Machin's portrait. The reverse design by Stuart Devlin is a masterpiece of numismatic art. Devlin, known as the goldsmith and jeweler to the Queen, ensured that Australian coinage reflected the nation's unique identity. The flowing waterlines around the platypus give the coin a sense of motion and life, making it one of the most beloved Australian coin designs from a historical perspective. 1976 was the year of Australia's bicentennial celebrations of Captain James Cook's arrival, which increased public interest in coins and historical themes. Although the 20-cent coin did not carry a special commemorative design that year, it still circulated alongside a growing culture of collecting and interest in national history. Mintages of the 1976 20-cent coin were quite high, ensuring wide circulation. This means that while the coin is not particularly scarce, its historical and cultural value remains strong. Collectors typically seek coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, which are harder to find today given the heavy usage of these coins. In the 1970s, the durability of cupronickel meant that many 1976 coins remained in use for decades. Even today, it is possible to find a 1976 20-cent coin in circulation, though most show signs of heavy wear. This longevity reflects both the strength of the metal and the importance of the denomination in Australian coinage. Numismatists often categorize the 1976 20-cent coin as a type coin within the Machin portrait series, making it a key piece for anyone building a complete decimal collection. Its relative affordability compared to rarer dates makes it a popular starting point for young collectors and beginners in the hobby. While most 1976 coins are standard issues, there are rare varieties and minting errors that attract serious collector interest. Errors such as off-center strikes, clipped planchettes, or double strikes can transform an ordinary coin into a valuable collectible. These rare pieces are highly sought after in auctions and private sales. The platypus design on the 20-cent coin carried educational value as well, teaching Australians and international observers about native wildlife. As a semi-aquatic mammal with unusual features like a duckbill and egg-laying ability, the platypus became a symbol of Australia's unique biodiversity and natural heritage. The economic context of 1976 also played a role in how the coin was used. Australia faced challenges such as high unemployment and global oil price shocks, but coins like the 20-cent remained stable instruments of trade. Their consistent design reassured the public of continuity amidst economic uncertainty. The 19 coin also holds cultural significance because it was part of everyday family memories. Children often received 20-cent coins as pocket money or used them in vending machines, while adults relied on them for public transport and grocery shopping. This everyday use gave the coin a sentimental value that persists among older generations. In the numismatic community, the 1976 20-cent coin is recognized as an example of functional yet artistic coinage. Its design balance between tradition, the Queen's portrait, and national identity, the platypus, continues to be admired. The coin showcases how Australia successfully merged heritage with modernity in its currency. Today, collectors can find 1976 20-cent coins in varying conditions, from heavily circulated to pristine uncirculated pieces preserved in mint sets. The value of these coins depends on condition, rarity of varieties, and demand among collectors. While common examples hold minimal monetary premium, they remain historically significant. Ultimately, the 1976 Australian 20-cent coin is more than just currency. It is a symbol of national pride, an artifact of daily life in the 1970s, and the reflection of Australia's evolving identity within the Commonwealth. Its blend of artistry, durability, and cultural meaning ensures it remains a treasured piece of numismatic history. Next up, the Australian 20-cent coin is one of the most recognized denominations in the country's decimal currency system. The 1977 issue holds a special place in numismatics, as it represents a period of national pride and economic transformation. Under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, introduced in 1966, the 20-cent coin was already an integral part of daily commerce by the time the 1977 version was struck. In 1977, Australia was still celebrating its relatively recent adoption of decimal currency, which had officially replaced the pound, shillings, and pence system just over a decade earlier. The 20-cent coin carried a strong sense of modern identity, linking Australia's economy with global standards, while still retaining symbols of British heritage through the monarch's portrait. The obverse of the 1977 Australian 20-cent coin. It features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Mack. This effigy had been introduced in 1966 and was used on Australian coins until 1984. The image shows the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, symbolizing elegance and continuity of the monarchy. The reverse side of the coin depicts the platypus, an iconic Australian animal. This design was created by Stuart Devlin, the official goldsmith and jeweler to the Queen. The platypus was chosen because of its uniqueness and its role as a symbol of Australian wildlife. The flowing lines around the animal represent water, emphasizing the platypus's natural habitat. The 1977 20-cent coin was minted in Canberra at the Royal Australian Mint. Millions were struck to meet circulation demands, making it a common but historically valuable coin. The durability of the copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper and 25% nickel, ensured that many coins from this year are still found in circulation. Today, one of the significant aspects of the 1977 coinage year was the Silver Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II, marking 25 years since her ascension to the throne in 1952. Although the 20-cent coin itself did not feature a commemorative design for the Jubilee, its release during this period adds a layer of historical importance. The standard 20-cent coin remained in circulation alongside other commemorative coins issued in 1977, such as the 50-cent coin that directly honored the Silver Jubilee. Collectors often consider the 20-cent coin of 1977 as part of this broader narrative, linking ordinary currency with national celebrations. The mintage figures for the 1977 20-cent coin reached into the tens of millions, ensuring widespread availability. However, high-grade uncirculated examples remained sought after by collectors, especially those graded by professional services on terms of design continuity. The 1977 issue reflects Australia's commitment to maintaining its decimal system imagery. The platypus design was not changed, symbolizing stability and familiarity for the public, while the Queen's effigy reflected the ongoing role of the monarchy in Australian constitutional life. Economically, the coin had significant purchasing power in 1977. A 20-cent piece could buy small snacks, newspapers, or contribute meaningfully to larger purchases. Today, while its face value remains the same, its historical and collector's value far surpasses its original spending power. Condition plays a major role in the coin's desirability. Circulated coins are relatively inexpensive, but uncirculated, or proof strikes produced in small quantities for collectors can command higher prices. These proof coins were struck with extra care, featuring mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. The 1977 20-cent coin also represents Australia's growing independence in coinage production. By the 1970s, the Royal Australian Mint had firmly established itself as a capable producer of both circulating and commemorative coins, no longer needing to rely on overseas mints as in the early years of decimal currency. Collectors value the coin not only for its physical characteristics but also for its connection to a pivotal year in Commonwealth history. The Silver Jubilee celebrations spanned across the globe, reinforcing ties between Australia and the British Crown, and the coin remains a subtle reminder of that unity. Some rare errors exist for the 1977 20-cent coin, such as off-center strikes, double strikes, or die cracks. These error coins are especially prized in the numismatic community, as they showcase the human and mechanical imperfections in minting. The coin measures 28.52 millimeters in diameter, weighs 11.31 grams, and has a reeded edge. These specifications have remained consistent for the 20-cent denomination since its introduction, making the coin instantly recognizable to Australians. As time passed, the 1977 20-cent coin became less about daily commerce and more about collectability. Many Australians began saving coins from this era, recognizing their cultural and historical value, especially in the context of Queen Elizabeth II's long reign. The coin's imagery also reflects Australia's balance between honoring the monarchy and celebrating its unique wildlife. The platypus, being one of only a few egg-laying mammals in the world, symbolizes the nation's individuality, while the Queen's portrait acknowledges its Commonwealth heritage. In the secondary market, the value of the 1977 20-cent coin depends largely on condition. Circulated coins may fetch only a small premium above face value, while uncirculated and proof versions can be worth significantly more to collectors. Over 4 decades later, the 1977 Australian 20-cent coin continues to circulate. Though fewer examples remain in pristine condition, it stands as a tangible reminder of the late 20th century, bridging Australia's cultural ties to Britain with its celebration of local identity. Ultimately, the 1977 Australian 20-cent coin is more than just currency. It is a symbol of history, monarchy, wildlife, and national pride. Its endurance reflects both the strength of its physical composition and the enduring value of its cultural significance in Australia's numismatic story. Next up, the Australian 20-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II in 1978 holds an important place in the numismatic history of Australia. It was part of the decimal coinage system introduced in 1966, replacing the pre-decimal shilling coins. By 1978, the 20-cent coin was already well established as one of the most circulated coins in the country. The obverse of the coin in 1978 displayed the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. Designed by Arnold Machin, this portrait was first introduced on Australian coins in 1966 and remained in use until 1984. The image shows the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, one of her most iconic royal jewels. The reverse of the 1978 Australian 20-cent coin features the iconic platypus designed by Stuart Devlin, who was the official goldsmith and jeweler to the Queen. Devlin's work emphasized Australia's unique wildlife, and the platypus became a perfect symbol for the coin. The 20-cent coin is struck in copper nickel, consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This alloy was chosen for its durability, resistance to corrosion, and ability to handle heavy circulation without significant wear. The coin weighs 11.31 grams and has a diameter of 28.65 millimeters, making it the largest among the circulating decimal coins apart from the 50-cent piece. In 1978, millions of 20-cent coins were struck at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. The mintage numbers were high, ensuring that the coin was widely available to the public for everyday transactions. Unlike some earlier years, the 1978 issue did not have a particularly low mintage, making it common in circulation. The year 1978 marked continued economic growth for Australia, and coins like the 20-cent played a vital role in daily commerce. At the time, 20 cents held greater purchasing power than today, capable of buying everyday goods such as a loaf of bread or a bus ticket. Numismatically, the 1978 20-cent coin is considered a regular circulation issue. Collectors often seek well-preserved examples, particularly in uncirculated or proof condition, where the details of the Queen's portrait and the platypus design remained sharp and lustrous. Proof versions of the 1978 20-cent coin were also produced by the Royal Australian Mint. These coins were struck with specially polished dies and planchettes, resulting in mirror-like fields and frosted details. Proof coins were sold in sets and targeted toward collectors rather than circulation. The obverse design by Arnold Machin is particularly significant because it was used not just in Australia but across many Commonwealth nations. The Machin portrait gave coins a youthful and regal representation of the Queen, reflecting her image during the late 1960s and 1970s. Stuart Devlin's platypus design on the reverse emphasizes Australia's identity and independence. At the time, many nations chose wildlife themes to symbolize natural heritage, and Australia's decision to highlight the platypus helped make its coinage instantly recognizable worldwide. Although common, the 1978 20-cent coin can still be collectible. If found in pristine condition, coins with full mint luster, no scratches, and sharp strikes can command higher prices among collectors. The circulation coins of 1978 were subject to heavy everyday use, which means most examples today show signs of wear such as scratches, dents, and fading details. High-grade coins are therefore scarcer than circulated ones. Errors are another interesting aspect of the 1978 20-cent coin, though rare. Some coins have been reported with off-center strikes, die cracks, or partial color errors. Such minting errors are often highly sought after by collectors because they are unusual and unique. The historical value of the coin also ties into Australia's decimal transition period. By the late 1970s, Australians were fully accustomed to decimal currency, and coins like the 20-cent piece had replaced the old shillings in both function and public memory. From an investment standpoint, circulated 1978 20-cent coins are not particularly rare or valuable. However, proof issues, mint errors, or coins graded at high levels by professional grading services can carry notable premiums. The legacy of the 1978 20-cent coin lies in its contribution to Australia's modern coinage system. It reflects a period when Australia was solidifying its national identity through unique designs, while still honoring its connection to the British monarchy. That is part of Queen Elizabeth II's long reign. The coin also marks one chapter in the evolution of her portraits on Australian currency. Collectors often group these coins into sets to study the progression of the Queen's image from youthful to mature depictions over time. Culturally, the coin holds nostalgia for Australians who grew up in the late 1970s and 1980s. For many, the 20-cent coin was a staple of pocket money, vending machines, and everyday purchases. It carries both sentimental and historic value today. The 1978 20-cent coin continues to circulate, though older issues are often gradually withdrawn or replaced by newer strikes. Nonetheless, millions remain in use, making it a living piece of history that Australians still encounter daily. In conclusion, the 1978 Australian 20-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II is a significant piece of numismatic history. With its Machin portrait, Devlin platypus design, durable copper-nickel composition, and high mintage, it represents both Australia's economy and culture of the era. While common in circulation, its true value lies in uncirculated proof, or error varieties, making it a must-have for collectors interested in Australian decimal coinage. Next up, the 1980 Australian 20-cent coin holds an important place in Australia's decimal currency history. Introduced in 1966 alongside other decimal denominations, the 20-cent coin became a widely used piece of everyday commerce, representing 1/5 of a dollar in the Australian economy. By 1980, the coin had already been circulating for 14 years. The obverse of the 1980 20-cent coin features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, a British sculptor. This portrait had been used on Australian coins since 1966 and remained in circulation until 1984, when it was replaced by Raphael Makhlouf's design. Thus, the 1980 issue is one of the coins from the Machin portrait era. The reverse design of the coin features the famous platypus, created by Stuart Devlin, who was the official goldsmith and jeweler to the Queen. The design shows the platypus swimming gracefully in water, symbolizing Australia's unique wildlife and national identity. The coin is composed of copper 75% and nickel 25%, which gives it a silvery appearance. It has a diameter of 28.52 millimeters and weighs 11.3 grams, making it one of the larger and heavier circulating coins in Australia's decimal system. In 1980, a significant number of 20-cent coins were minted for circulation. Millions were struck at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, ensuring that the coin remained readily available for public use. What makes the 1980 20-cent coin historically interesting is its place in the transition of Australia's economy during the late 20th century. Inflation and economic changes were reshaping the value of money, yet the 20-cent coin continued to play a vital role in daily transactions. The obverse inscription reads, Elizabeth II's Australia 1980, clearly marking the issuing nation and the reigning monarch. This simple yet elegant layout highlighted Australia's ties to the British monarchy while maintaining its own national coinage identity. The 20-cent coin of this era was heavily used in vending machines, public telephones, and parking meters, which made it an essential piece of everyday life for Australians in 1980. Its larger size also made it practical for machine recognition. Collectors often study the 1980 20-cent coin for varieties and errors. Some coins may show slight minting flaws, including off-center strikes or die cracks, which can increase their numismatic value. By 1980, the coin had already become a symbol of modern Australian money. Unlike the earlier pre-decimal shillings and florins, the 20-cent coin was a fully decimalized piece, aligning Australia with international decimal currency systems. In terms of international recognition, the 20-cent platypus design is one of the most iconic Australian coins. Tourists and collectors from overseas often admired the coin for its detailed wildlife depiction. The production quality of the 1980 coin is generally good, as the Royal Australian Mint had by then perfected its modern minting techniques. This ensured that the coins lasted many years in circulation without significant wear. Interestingly, proof versions of the 1980 20-cent coin were also struck for collectors. These coins were specially minted with mirror-like finishes and sold in collector sets, making them more valuable than circulation strikes. The 1980 issue does not include any commemorative variations. It was strictly a standard issue coin. However, its simplicity and reliability contributed to its wide acceptance and long-term survival in circulation. From an economic perspective, the 20-cent coin was crucial in bridging the gap between the 10-cent and 50-cent denominations. In everyday use, it allowed for easier transactions and reduced reliance on banknotes for small amounts. The durability of the coin is notable. Even today, many 1980 20-cent coins remain in circulation in Australia, proving the lasting quality of copper-nickel alloy and the robust design of the coin. Collectors who specialize in Elizabeth II Australian coinage often include the 1980 20-cent piece in their Machin Portrait Series collection. It represents the continuity of design and the strong ties between Australia and the Commonwealth. The 1980 coin also reflects the social environment of its time. Australia was experiencing cultural and economic shifts, yet its coinage remained stable and traditional, symbolizing national identity through wildlife themes. Today, the 1980 20-cent coin is relatively common and holds little premium above its face value in circulated condition. However, uncirculated or proof examples can fetch higher prices among collectors. In summary, the 1980 Australian 20-cent coin is more than just a piece of money. It is a historical artifact that connects modern Australians with their past. Featuring Queen Elizabeth II and the platypus, it embodies national pride, stability, and the enduring value of Australian currency. Next up, the Australian 20-cent coin has been a staple of the country's currency since its introduction in 1966, when decimalisation replaced the old pounds, shillings, and pence system. The 20-cent coin was designed as part of the new decimal series, and by 1981 it had already become one of the most widely used coins in circulation. The obverse of the 1981 coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, as Australia is a member of the Commonwealth. At the time, the portrait used was created by Arnold Machin, a British sculptor, whose design had been adopted in 1966 and remained on Australian coins until 1984. Arnold Machin's portrait of the Queen is iconic for its simplicity and elegance. It shows Queen Elizabeth II wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. Facing right, this portrait is considered one of the most recognizable images of the Queen on coinage worldwide. The reverse design of the 20-cent coin in 1981 featured the platypus, an animal native to Australia. The design was created by Stuart Devlin, a renowned Australian goldsmith and jeweler, who also designed the reverse of many Australian decimal coins. The platypus was chosen as the subject for the 20-cent coin because of its uniqueness and distinct Australian identity, known for its unusual appearance and semi-aquatic lifestyle. The platypus represents Australia's extraordinary wildlife and cultural symbolism. The coin is made of cupric nickel consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel, which gives it durability and a silvery appearance. It has a mass of 11.3 grams, a diameter of 28.65 millimeters, and a thickness of 2.5 millimeters, making it one of the largest circulating coins in Australia. The edge of the coin is plain, unlike many other coins which have milled or reed edges. This simple edge design gives the coin a smooth finish and distinguishes it from higher denominations such as the 50-cent coin. In 1981, the Royal Australian Mint was the primary minting facility for producing Australian coinage. However, due to high demand for circulation coins, Australia often contracted international mints, including the Royal Mint in the UK and the Royal Canadian Mint. Indeed, in 1981, some of the 20-cent coins were struck at other mints, including the Royal Mint in London and the Royal Canadian Mint. This practice ensured that Australia could meet circulation demands while maintaining consistent coin quality. The 1981 20-cent coin is not considered a rare issue, as millions were produced for circulation. However, varieties and minting errors from this year can make certain pieces more valuable to collectors. One of the notable varieties includes coins struck at different international mints, which may exhibit small differences in die characteristics, minting quality, or strike strength. Collectors often seek out these varieties to build complete sets. Another point of interest for collectors is the possibility of minting errors. Examples of errors might include off-center strikes, die cracks, double strikes, or improperly prepared planches. These error coins from 1981 can be worth far more than their face value. The 20-cent coin from 1981 circulated widely in Australia during the 1980s. It was used in everyday transactions, from groceries to public transport fares, and became a familiar piece of pocket change for millions of Australians. Culturally, the 20-cent coin holds a special place because of its long-standing platypus design. Australians often view the coin not only as currency but also as a small token, representing their country's natural heritage. By 1981, the 20-cent coin had already established itself as a popular denomination, particularly for vending machines and public telephones. Its size and weight made it practical for such uses, further embedding it in daily life. The coin has a legal tender status, meaning it can be used to pay debts and purchases. However, according to Australian law, coins of this denomination can only be used for payments up to $5 in a single transaction. The longevity of the 1981 20-cent coin is a testament to its durable cupric-nickel composition. Many examples from that year remain in circulation today, more than 4 decades later, still bearing the portrait of a young Queen Elizabeth. 2. Collectors often value coins like the 1981 20-cent for their historical significance. They represent not only a snapshot of Australia's monetary system but also the broader connection to the British monarchy and Commonwealth heritage. Although not a rare issue, the 1981 20-cent coin is still collected in high-grade uncirculated condition. Coins that have been preserved without wear can be significantly more valuable than those that saw regular circulation. In summary, the 1981 Australian 20-cent coin is a symbol of both tradition and functionality, featuring Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and the platypus on the reverse. It reflects Australia's national identity, ties to the Commonwealth, and the everyday life of its people during the early 1980s. Next up, the Australian 20-cent coin was first introduced in 1966 as part of the decimal currency system, replacing the florin. By 1982, the coin had become one of the most widely used denominations in circulation across Australia. The 198220 cent coin featured the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse side, as was customary for all Australian coins since the portrait used in 1982 was designed by Arnold Machin, a renowned British sculptor. The Machin portrait of the Queen, used from 1966 until 1984, shows her wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a gift she received as a wedding present. This elegant design became iconic on Australian coins during this period. The reverse side of the coin, introduced in 1966 and retained in 1982, depicts the platypus, an iconic Australian animal. The design was created by Stuart Devlin, the official goldsmith and designer of many Australian decimal coins. The platypus design highlights Australia's unique wildlife, which was an important theme in the selection of decimal coin designs. The swirling water effect around the platypus added motion and artistry, making it one of the most admired reverse designs. The 1980 to 20-cent coin was minted in nickel, consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This composition ensured durability for daily use while also giving the coin its silvery appearance. The diameter of the coin measured 28.65 millimeters, with a weight of 11.31 grams, making it one of the larger and heavier coins in circulation at the time. Its size also made it easily recognizable by the public. In terms of minting, 1982 was a year of significant production for 20-cent coins. Millions were struck to meet the demands of the Australian economy, ensuring that the denomination was plentiful in circulation. Unlike commemorative coins that appeared in later years, the 1982 20-cent coin did not feature a special design. It retained the standard platypus reverse, making it a typical circulation issue. The year 1982 did, however, mark an important time in Australian coinage history because the Royal Australian Mint continued to refine its production techniques, ensuring better strike quality and consistency across all denominations. Collectors today often examine the 1982 20-cent coin for errors and varieties. Commonly sought-after features include off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, or coins with planchet flaws, which can make them more valuable than their face value. Most 1982 20-cent coins remain common, but high-grade examples in uncirculated condition are attractive to collectors. These coins often come from mint sets issued by the Royal Australian Mint in 1982. The coin is part of the broader series of Australian decimal coins that represent the stability of the currency. The system introduced in 1966, the 20-cent denomination, in particular, has remained unchanged in size and design since its introduction. The year 1982 also saw Australia preparing for significant events, including the upcoming 1982 Commonwealth Games in Brisbane. While no special 20-cent coin was issued that year for the Games, commemorative issues appeared on other denominations. Queen Elizabeth II remained the central figure on the obverse of Australian coins, reflecting Australia's ties to the British monarchy. This design tradition has continued for decades, with updated portraits appearing in later years. The 1982 20-cent coin is an example of Australia's enduring coinage design philosophy, maintaining consistency while highlighting national identity through wildlife imagery. The platypus remains one of the most beloved coin designs among Australians. Collectors often group the 1982 issue with other early 1980s 20-cent coins to study strike quality, wear patterns, and the overall durability of the coin series. These studies provide insights into minting standards of the era today. Circulated 1980 to 20-cent coins hold little premium above face value, but they remain an important piece of Australian numismatic history. Uncirculated or proof versions, however, that attract collector interest. Over 4 decades later, the 1980 to 20-cent coin is a reminder of the era of stability in Australian coinage. Its unchanged design through the years demonstrates the lasting popularity of both the Queen's portrait and the platypus motif. In conclusion, the 1982 Australian 20-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II is a common yet historically significant coin. It represents the continuity of decimal coinage, the artistry of Arnold Markin and Stuart Devlin, and the enduring presence of Australia's unique wildlife on its circulating currency. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about the history of this coin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more rare coin stories and numismatic treasures.